As an interested party, Professor Robert Gumus has disgraced INEC in this ward delineation that was carried out on the Warri Federal Constituency. The report was delivered on the 4th of April this year, 2025. And what we have uncovered in this report is a monumental fraud by INEC in this ward delineation. You can imagine that coordinates of community created as units were planted on river and in forest with no habitation. How can you have people who claim to be, neutral, people who claim to be professional with their job, go ahead to carry out this fraudulent act against the people of Warri Federal Constituency in the name of delineating? They claim to be implementing Supreme Court judgment that asks them to delineate, but they fail to apply the Supreme Court judgment that declare this resident on our land as tenant. You cannot take what belongs to Peter to give to Paul. Our land cannot be renamed. A situation where INEC took the job of renaming communities belonging to the Itsekiris with the name of Ijaw to create ward for them, it is unacceptable and it is not done. INEC lacked the jurisdiction or power to rename communities. INEC lacked the power to set boundaries. In fact, INEC went about adjusting boundary, bringing Edo State and Ondo State into Warri Federal Constituency, all to create communities and units for the Ijaws to give them the numbers. INEC went into Udu local government outside of Warri Federal Constituency. INEC went into Ugeli South local government outside of Warri Federal Constituency. INEC went into Burutu local government outside of Warri Federal Constituency to create communities and units for the Ijaws registered under Warri Federal Constituency. Can you imagine the gravity of fraud that INEC committed against the people of Warri Federal Constituency? And yet, INEC is still planning to go ahead with this fraud. And we are yet to say, no, INEC cannot go ahead. INEC cannot continue with this fraud. INEC would have to jettison this fraud and delineate properly in accordance with the law and in accordance with the same guidelines set up by INEC to delineate. INEC must obey every Supreme Court judgment as far as land ownership of community is concerned in the Warri Federal Constituency to delineate. INEC cannot gift the names of communities belonging to Itsekiris to Ijaw by changing the name. By the time you yourself as an individual plot this same coordinate, you will see for yourself the fraud that INEC has committed. In fact, they told us that they came with professionals who use GPS to map out the area. But believe you me, by the time you plot that coordinate, you find out that they did nothing of such. Those people who went to grant, they have been financially induced, they have been dollarized. We know what happened in that particular job that was handed to them. That was why they cooked up these names and fictitious communities and brought it out to make up the numbers for the Ijaws so that they can show that they are more than us, the original owners of Warri Federal Constituency. The Ijaws have got Burutu, they've got Patani, they've got Pomadi local government. The only three local government that the Itsekiri have got, Warri South, Warri North, and Warri Southwest Federal local government, is now being taken by deliberate act of dollarization. The Ijaws of Paramatu are planning to usurp what belongs to the Itsekiris for themselves. What are they interested in? They want to take away the political power of the Itsekiris in their homeland under the Warri Federal Constituency. What are they planning to do? They want to seize the oil wealth that belongs to the Itsekiri in the Warri Federal Constituency. And INEC has become a collaborator in this particular crime. And we are saying that the government of the day do not allow this illegality to continue, because this is a recipe for anarchy. You can't claim to be a government that is set up by the rule of law, yet you go all about perpetrating illegality. In fact, the same federal government has even faulted, in fact, disobeyed the Supreme Court judgment as far as land ownership in Okerekoko is concerned, and naming the place Okerekoko and Maritime University under Okerekoko. The same federal government now, in collaboration with INEC, is doing the same thing to rename Itsekiri communities for Ijaws. We will not take this and we will not allow it. And we are calling for the arrest of Professor Gumus and Joseph Elemesi and every other INEC official that partook in this crime. They must be arrested, investigated, and prosecuted. Because if we don't bring them to book, this will continue. An injustice to one person is an injustice to all. We cannot continue to allow this injustice to the Itsekiri people. The fact that we are peace-loving people does not mean that we should be undermined, that we should be subdued, that we should be ignored when we speak to the dictates of the law. We are not carrying arms. We are only speaking to the application of the rule of law. And if we must move as a country going forward, we must continue to apply the rule of law. This is what we are here for.
You found out that INEC called the Itsekiris. That's why you did not see anybody. You didn't see Itsekiris busting pipeline. Despite being in Warri Federal Constituency and in Delta State, the richest oil producing community. We have all the oil wells, the gas in our land. But we have always been known to be peaceful. We believe in the rule of law. Hence, we decided to study it. And what we found out was a monumental fraud perpetrated through Professor Rhodas Gumus led committee. And surprisingly, this Professor Rhodas Gumus, she is an Ijaw woman from Bayelsa. The Itsekiris protested, you cannot have an interested party doing this kind of job. INEC is known to be impartial. And that is what we expect from INEC. Is there no Hausa man there that can handle this job? Is there no Yoruba person that can handle this job? Is there no Igbo person that can handle this job? We don't allow the Itsekiri man to delineate it if it were to be exposed. He would have threatened the government that he would bust pipeline. And definitely, the government will want to obey because they believe Itsekiris are peaceful. Despite that, we also said, okay, carry it out. They wanted to do the feed of country. And the German, Mr. Joseph was also used to carry out this same delineation as a field officer. And surprisingly, they brought out the greatest embarrassment for an employee. They brought out the greatest fraud ever seen. You want to delineate Warri Federal Constituency, which makes up Warri South, Warri North, and Warri Southwest. However, we were surprised as a people that when we decided to check the coordinates that INEC gave to us, we found out that INEC went to bring all the communities and coordinates and lands from Ondo State. The largest should be wary of the Ijaws. They are land grabbers. They are worse than any tribe in this country, as far as being land grabbers. And what did we find out? They also went to Ondo State, Edo State. These documents were given to INEC. That see the delineation you gave to us. We checked it. And we were shocked to find out that you also took places from Edo State to form what for the Ijaws. How can this happen? We also checked and we saw that in Warri South, most of the areas that belong to Itsekiri areas, in Warri South also, they also did the same thing. They were taking communities from Warri North to form Warri Southwest to form in Warri South, Warri South to form in Warri North. A very sharply disgraceful. A place like this with a lot of intellectuals. I believe that professor is an intellectual. This is what this I believe that the reason she did this is because she wants to propagate and enjoy it. And beyond that, she has been financially induced. Yes, we have written petition to the Special General of Police. We have written petition to the Commissioner of Police. We were in the Commissioner of Police office last week. We wrote our statement. We told them, and we are reiterating it here, that we are demanding nothing short of that. That woman should be sacked. That woman should be prosecuted and then to be flagged all over the nation as a woman who wants to create crisis, fresh crisis in Warri Federal Constituency. What did she do? She decided to rename most Itsekiri communities. She renamed and then gave us a guideline. You should obey Supreme Court judgment with Supreme Court judgment. The Supreme Court judgment over the ownership of land in Warri Federal Constituency has been settled. There is no new place to litigate. The entire Bakakodia area has been settled in a Supreme Court judgment. I believe what to do Supreme Court judgment, what to know the owners. The Itsekiris gave you the Supreme Court judgment, which is the ownership of this land. You have the Supreme Court judgment for Bakakodia area. You have the Supreme Court judgment for Ijaw. We have the judgment of the ownership of the land of the Agwazis. The ownership of land of Ugoroda have been settled long ago. You have the Supreme Court judgment, the judgment of those places. The issue of Warri, the judges have been bad legally in court. Is it that INEC wants to undo the judgment of one in order to carry out a fraudulent act through his own judgments?
Okay, in all this, what is your demand? What are your
Our demand is one. To start this fraud. Investigate, because this could be done again if you allow it in another place. Because Nigerians have heard of delineation. They may also want to ask INEC to redelinate in Lagos. Does it mean you will change all the name of the Yoruba people in Lagos and put the Igbos because you saw one or two Igbos staying there? This is something that should not be allowed. Because when one evil starts, this is how Yahoo started in Nigeria. This is more than Yahoo. This is the biggest fraud ever. How can you carry land from Ondo State to create wards in Warri Federal Constituency? Different states. How can you carry land from Edo State to create the same areas for the Ijaws in Warri Federal Constituency? You came to Warri. No place. We have open local government. But we are surprised that INEC decided that they don't like the name. The Shekiri is called their land. Captured in our data state map, captured in our Warri map, captured in all legal documents. They decided that this time around, they want to redelineate by changing it. Surprisingly, INEC was calling our areas Okpe. INEC was calling Momoni. INEC was calling funny Agbasia. Ours was calling Boluama. Ours was calling all of funny names that are alien to Shekiris, alien to data state government, alien to the legal documents that are in our land. Earlier to the Supreme Court judgment of the ownership and the legal names of those places. How can you, this place is my Tama? Because INEC wants to redelineate. Will it change my Tama to Asokoro? The answer is no. What is propagating it? They are demanding that they discard it, that particular woman. Professor Rhoda Guma, that criminal that carried out this paper, this evil, that wants to practice, maybe that wants to create blood, that wants to destroy properties, that wants to wipe out, alienate the Shekiri people, that wants to forcefully alienate our land and give to our in connivance with the robbers of Warri South, who have just 2 words legally, this legal term what Shekiri have it. Surprisingly, they were changing the names of Shekiri areas across Warri South to give to them. What is our sin? It's being peaceful. A sin? They did this in Rwanda. Do I want to do it in Nigeria? The Nigerian government should know that we have a Democrat as a president who fought Nadeko. We too, we are learning from him. We will fight this legally. We never heard that Tinubu shoot God. When he was fighting with the Nadeko, we will fight this legally. As Shekiris, we will not accept it. We demand the Inspector General of Police to do the needful. We have written petition. We need to be arrested. The NSA should be looking at this and know that the world is watching. The world is watching. Let Rwanda not happen in his time. Ribadu is a man of integrity. We want to see integrity put in place. We will not accept it.
We have vital information that the office of the NSA is having meetings, private meetings, with the Ijaws and some other members of the constituency to finalize this illegal document.
Without this petition,
and we are saying that should not be allowed. The NSA should stay clear from this. If it's not going to follow the law or apply the rule of law in whatever engagement or advice is going to give on this matter, it should stay clear, because what is currently going on is an illegality, and illegality begot illegality. I hope they are not pushing us to the wall. I hope they are not asking us to be like the Ijaws who would will AK-47. I hope they are not asking us to go to exile. I hope they are not sending us to the forest. Because at the end of the day, if the federal government can award surveillance contract to an ex-militant who committed genocide against the Shekiri people, why can't the federal government award the same contract to Boko Haram? Because this is the financial empowerment that Okolo is having to finance officials of INEC to carry out this fraud. And we have said that INEC did not do its thorough diligent or proper job. If they did, we will not have this fraud. This fraud surprise you to see. If you look at this document, you will find out that we even have Headmaster Bene as a community. In fact, you will see a multiple of Bene community. And yet INEC allowed it and duplicated it. We even have Christmas Bene as community. We have communities that are planted on top of the river in the forest where there are no habitat. It has never been heard of in the history of this country. And this is what INEC is going to allow. So we are saying it should not be allowed. If